Don't you wish children came with instruction manuals? As parents, we all want what's best for our children, but every parent doubts themselves at one time or another. We ask ourselves questions like, am I a good parent? Well, if I punish my kids, will they still love me? How am I supposed to deal with my kids when they disobey? Well, the best way to confront these major concerns in parenting is to arm yourself with an appropriate parenting style. As a mother of 2 young children, I know what it's like to doubt ourselves as parents. The first thing that I had to come to grips with is that everyone makes mistakes. I'm sure you can all think of things your parents did when you were younger that you swore you would never do as a parent. It's necessary to realize that parenting is a process that consists of significant learning and growth. There are times when we all get frustrated, maybe even yell and scream, but choosing an appropriate parenting style gives us an ideal to aim for. Authoritative parenting is the parenting style that yields most beneficial results for children and the parent-child relationship. In this presentation, I'll be covering the following: authoritative parenting's place among different parenting styles, authoritative parenting's characteristics, and authoritative parenting's impact on children and the parent-child relationship. Authoritative parenting is one of the 3 main parenting styles. In her 1999 article entitled Parenting Styles and Its Correlates, researcher Nancy Darling insists that specific parenting practices are less important in predicting child well-being than is the broad pattern of parenting. Spanking versus timeout is an example of this. Specific practices like spanking or timeout aren't as important as your overall parenting style. So whether the debate about whether to spank your child or do timeout isn't as important if overall you're a supportive parent and you're focusing on your overall style as a parent rather than specific techniques you implement. What are the 3 main parenting styles? The 3 main parenting styles, as proposed by renowned developmental psychologist Diana Baumrind, are the authoritarian style, the permissive style, and the authoritative style. An analogy of this is the story of Goldilocks. You could consider the authoritarian style too controlling, the permissive style too indulgent, and the authoritative style just right. Authoritarian parents attempt to shape, control, and evaluate the behavior and attitudes of the children in accordance with a set standard of conduct, usually an absolute standard. This is the definition Diana Baumrind gave for authoritarian parents. Permissive parents attempt to behave in a non-punitive, acceptant, and affirmative manner towards the children's impulse, desires, and actions. This is the definition Baumrind gave for permissive parents. They are the ones that usually let their children get away from anything. There's not an established set of rules, and rather than upset their children, and they would just let them get away with whatever they want or give in to them. Authoritative parenting consists of specific characteristics. So what characteristics do authoritative parents exhibit? According to Nancy Darling, authoritative parents are demanding but responsive. They have expectations, but they do respond to the needs of their children and address their concerns. Authoritative parents are assertive but not intrusive or restrictive. They let children know what their expectations are, but they don't invade their space or privacy, and they work with them to set compromises and set realistic goals and expectations. Authoritative parents emphasize supportive methods of discipline over punitive methods. For authoritative parents, the main goal of punishments is teaching and learning and growth rather than shaming or guilting the children into behaving better in the future. Authoritative parenting positively impacts children. A study conducted by researcher Lawrence Steinberg determined that regardless of ethnicity, class, or a parent's marital status, adolescents whose parents demonstrated characteristics of authoritative parenting were more self-reliant, reported less anxiety and depression, and were less likely to engage in delinquent behavior. So this is saying regardless of the family makeup or how much money someone makes or whatever, if the parenting style is supportive and compromising and works with the children rather than being too controlling or too indulgent, the children will be more self-reliant and be able to do things on their own. They'll still depend on their parents for certain things, but they don't always need their parents' approval, or they're not worried that they're going to upset their parents all the time by making a mistake. Researcher Ruth Chow published a study that supported the idea that the beneficial effects of authoritative parenting are explained through relationship closeness. This is one of the great things about authoritative parenting. It's not parenting out of fear or indulgence or giving all the time. It's a genuine love relationship, a love and support both ways. There's usually open dialogue, and children can come to their parents with their problems, and parents can address their children's problems in a constructive, supportive manner. So in conclusion, authoritative parenting is the parenting style that yields the most beneficial results for children in the parent-child relationship. It results in a close relationship between parents and children, and most children whose parents exhibit traits of authoritative parenting are more self-reliant, less anxious and depressed, and often do well in school and tend to not engage in delinquent behavior. So authoritative parenting is one of the three main parenting styles. Authoritative parenting consists of specific characteristics, and authoritative parenting positively impacts children in the parent-child relationship. So I want to thank you all for coming and encourage you to implement the characteristics of authoritative parenting in your own relationships with your children. Thank you.